Nothing says love like gorilla love. Little did we know, guys, as we jumped into episode number 2, that things were going to get moving and grooving. But with the title of the episode, it kind of gave it away that our gorilla was going to go through some evolution. But the way that they did it was actually really, really enjoyable. So what they did during the episode was they kind of introduced a villain or somebody like an antagonist to us, which we're just going to call him 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥, right? We're going to call him 𝐒𝐚𝐧. And he's a skeleton looking guy, and he was like, I wish someone would come for me. And that was his ultimate wish, was to kind of be kind of sent away. It really gave me Arifureta vibes, because in the anime Arifureta, they come up they're a school class that got isekai'd. They come up upon a skull as well, kind of similar fashion. But regardless, it gave me a lot of other anime vibes, but I still thought it did it really well. So the first half of the anime is all about Seichi now dealing with being possessed and being married by, not by his choice, to the gorilla Saria. And they show him spending his life and them going through the motions of dinner, and her cooking for him, and her making new clothes for him, and her hunting for him, and all of this stuff, right? And Seichi kind of like, he begins to ask questions like, how did you find out all this stuff? And she reveals that she came across a cave that had a bunch of different books and stuff, and she was able to grab the books and obtain the knowledge of how to speak, linguistics, how to write, how to cook, how to clean, do all of these different things that she was able to do. And what's cool is Seichi got to take a look at those books as well, and he also learned on how to, clean himself, bathe himself, because there's spells essentially for everything: bathing, cooking, cleaning, all of this stuff. So he was able to obtain some additional skills as well, just by kind of taking a gander at the different books that Saria had been looking at. So that's kind of why she was like, in his head, he was like, she's the perfect wife if she wasn't a gorilla. So that was kind of the thing that he had to do with kind of like the first half. And then he kind of deals with, okay, how am I going to escape? How am I going to get out of this forest? How am I going to get out of this situation? And eventually he finds his way, and he kind of runs away, and he makes his way out, and he uses his instant transmissions, his instant speed, to kind of try and get himself out of this situation that he's in. And Saria, she's like be hustling. She's like ready after him. Eventually he comes upon 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐧𝐞𝐥, and he figures out, that, he's level 1500. He's an obscene powerhouse. And when that guy, he's like, you're a weakling, he goes for the killing blow on Seichi, and Seichi ends up getting saved by Saria, and they have an emotional dialogue. And he was like, are you trying to tell me there's love between a human and a gorilla? And eventually he was like, I love Saria, because he's thinking, in his head, he's thinking this whole time, like, she's about to die. I'm just going to at least kind of like, I'm going to give her all this. I'm going to remember all the times that we spent together. And to make like a really long recap short of the episode, he ends up, confessing, and the 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐽𝐽 ends up recognizing his love as Seichi gives the final blow by using different skills that he's learned. And 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐽𝐽 is finally able to go and rest with his love that he had, which was his maid, who had given up her life for him at one point as well. So I thought that was a really cool scene. And then it ends up with Saria finally evolving from said love, and she evolves into now the magnificent waifu that is. And then they get the item drops from 𝐒𝐚𝐧𝐽𝐽, and then Seichi goes through his final evolution, where he's now a debonair guy. He has like immediate charm, and they get yeeted out of the forest by the dungeon master, which I thought was really cool. Last thing I want to talk about as far as like recap wise is they also showed us like the school and all of the classmates. Very normal isekai scenario. All the classmates are being trained right now. They're being told by the kingdom that they have these extra powers. They need to get trained up so they can go take on the demon lord, demon king, whatever it is. Very normal, par for the course stuff. And then the end of the episode, they show us a tidbit for next week's preview, which is a girl. I don't know what she is, maybe a dwarf or something, but she's like this girl, and she's like, oh, no one needs to come near me. Very fierce. He's going to interact with her next week, and I wonder how Saria is going to react to a new girl joining the cause. Overall, I wanted to say, though, Evolution Fruit, like, it doesn't take itself seriously, which is really good. Its mechanics and the world is really kind of based on an RPG. You know, the music, I was like, the music hit me out of nowhere. The music's based on an RPG. It has a lot of video game mechanics. It doesn't take itself seriously. It drives a lot. It drives the car forward on the street with like a lot of the comedic effects. It really focuses on comedy, and it really focuses on all those aspects. I mean, there's gorilla love. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about a gorilla waifu, and it really doesn't take itself seriously, and it focuses on all that. And it really focuses on the trials and tribulations through Seichi, which I think is a very interesting and funny character so far. But I think Saria really takes the show. I kind of wish that we spent maybe an episode or two more with her gorilla form. But regardless, I love that the dedication he had for his gorilla wife has now given him something back. And he now is able to at least say, I love you to a girl and not a gorilla. And thankfully, she shrunk a little bit too, so she's shorter than Seichi as well. So very, very funny episode. Very much looking forward to next episode. Also, I noticed in the OP that eventually Seichi will get his harem, so it's gonna be some harem vibes in this as well. And I'm just interested to see on what Saria does when all the new girls get introduced. And I'm also interested to see what happens when his classmate, the girl specifically, who seems to be like his best friend maybe, when she comes into the mix as well. And kind of how he continues progressing down his path now that he's now level 11 or level 12. So it's gonna be very interesting to see what he does now out of getting out of the forest. But overall, I really enjoy the anime. At the end of the day, it's probably like a 7 out of 10, but it's a really solid 7 out of 10. It's dumb, it's silly, and it's hilarious, and I'm really enjoying watching it every week, and I hope you guys are too. Regardless, that's all my thoughts on this week's episode. I think it was fantastic. Gorilla Waifu for the win, and I'll see you guys next week for episode number 3. If you missed our reaction, click the video here, and if you want to see another fall review, click this one right here, and we'll see you all gorilla lovers next week.